everybody. Welcome back to the Genre of Your Life podcast, episode number 12, I believe. I'm one of your hosts, Doug Jones, one of the producers, creators of the Genre of Your Life. With me as always are my great two co-hosts. First off, Mr. Nick Johnson. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Happy to be here.
Happy you're here too, my friend. Last but not least, Mr. the one, the only, Mr. Joel Kindlen. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Living life and surviving, and happy to be here to take our fine listeners and fans on this verbal journey of our nagging.
Verbal German nagging. I love it. Again, hello everybody. Welcome back to the show. As always, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast audio listening service as a choice. If you want to follow us on social media, find us on the show. You can find us on Instagram at Midway Avenue Productions, as well as TikTok, also at Midway Avenue Productions. I just posted my out of theater reaction to Air on there. Also, you can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/Midway Avenue Productions. We'll be posting again more reviews, at theater reactions on there as well. If you're not on Instagram or TikTok. So yeah, let's get into it, guys. So what's something so I have my Air review coming down later in the show, but something I wanted to talk about, I think I've been noticing a lot in the box office recently, and I'm glad that John Wick ruled the box office. I'm happy for that for sure. But I've been seeing a lot of articles and also a lot of like headlines recently about superhero fatigue. And I know where Joel stands on this for sure. I'm gonna ask all you guys in your opinion, but there's been kind of a thing of like, hey, look at Ant-Man. Ant-Man had a really bad drop off. Look at Shazam. Shazam could even crack 40, 35 mil. And I think we're seeing this now. I think because how I see it too, there's so much content that's being produced to us as consumers. But I do feel like the era of quote unquote like okay superhero comic book movies have now like come to an end, where if you're not putting out like a Batman, or you're putting out like a Black Panther, or you're putting out like a Spider-Man No Way Home, or Avengers Endgame, or I don't know, something like Man of Steel, I think that the era of passable, okay superhero movies are gone. And I think, with the success of a lot of, again, I know John Wick and I know Creed are all franchise movies, but in a way, they are original to their own degree of bringing in new things we haven't seen before. Like in Creed 3, how Michael B. Jordan brought in IMAX cameras to shoot a sports movie. Again, no spoilers for John Wick 4, but how, Chad Stahelski and the team and Keanu brought new techniques to like the action franchise, different camera work, stuff like that. Nick, I'll start with you, actually. As someone who appreciates comic book movies the way we all do you think we're seeing a fatigue right now in superhero genres, or it's going to be like, once The Flash comes out or Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out, we're going to be like, oh, just kidding, it's not fatigue? I mean, where do you stand right now on that?
That's a good question. I never, like you said, I'm a huge comic book guy. Ever since I was a kid, like I've always wanted to see, like all of the superheroes on the screen, and especially all interacting with each other. But as of recently, like when I saw Ant-Man 3 with you, I was kind of like, okay, I'm starting to feel the superhero fatigue a little bit, like because it seems like it's just more like quantity over quality. You know what I mean? Like with the MCU, It seems like they kind of have to like push out all these movies and all these TV shows and yada yada yada, and it's like y'all are so focused on just superhero content, you're not really focused on if it's good or not. Because after watching Ant-Man 3, it's like I feel like this movie didn't really need to be made, and it felt like it was really just a vehicle to advertise Jonathan Majors' Kang the Conqueror.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, oh man, I think I think fatigue might actually be starting to happen now, which hopefully at some point, like hopefully very, very soon, because I know like Marvel, they're trying to restructure things and they're focusing supposedly now on quality over quantity. So it seems like they're going to be like scaling back how many like shows and movies they release and just focusing on making them as good as they can. Hopefully that trend just continues, and then we can kind of get back to how they were in like phase 1 and phase 3, where they were just solid movies, and it's good storytelling, it's good character development, and it's not so much focused on all this, CG green screen type shit. Hopefully we get back to focusing on just telling good stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree, man. I think, and then, well, first off, I mean, Joe, I mean, I know how you feel, especially, I mean, you've been very vocal on the show about how you're kind of done with Marvel. You're kind of like, you want to see better quality stuff from DC, especially. You were more of a believer in DC and the new era that they're going to bring in with James Gunn's announcements. Do you feel, I mean, Joe, you're also, again, an avid comic book appreciator. Do you feel like there's going to be a fatigue? I think there's a current fatigue, as well as a fatigue coming on about superhero movies in the box office?
Yeah, I think there is going to be a fatigue. I think everyone's sort of tired of it. So I think DC is going to have a challenging time to, sorry, I'm hearing myself a little bit. I think DC is going to have a challenging time to get people into the theaters to want to really watch it, besides the diehard fans and the little kids. Because, like, again, like Nick said, like, Marvel they killed their movies. Nick, do you have, like, your computer or TV volume on? Sorry.
No, I don't think so.
Because I'm hearing myself in the background, and your name keeps popping up.
Do you want me to, like...
Oh, my bad, no.
No, I'm just asking because that's like distracting me. I heard.
I'll fix the post. I'll fix the post.
So sorry. I'm not trying to like.
You're throwing us off, man.
I'm like,
you're ruining everything. so what was I saying? Yes. So very much so, like what Nick said is that with Marvel, they really fucked themselves over. Because what they try doing is, all right, let's start throwing all these side characters and all this little shit in these movies, to where they stop focusing on the character themselves and do what a lot of movies do, especially like franchise movies. That's why like people really don't like sequels, is that they stop focusing on the character, stop building that character, stop making new things. They're just like, oh, we'll do the same shit we did last movie, it'll be fine. You know what I mean? And which makes it really hard for people to continue to enjoy these movies, because now these Marvel movies are all sort of blending into one another.
Yeah,
there's no individuality. And that's the thing about villains and superheroes and anti-heroes, is that they're all their own individuals. So as everyone is sarcastic and an asshole and all this other shit, you're gonna get bored of it, because it's just like, this is not the character I grew up reading. It's not the character I know and love. Like, even if you're making an adaptation of it and changing certain things, I'm not gonna like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So people are really fatigued from it, because they're just like, I've seen it all before. And also DC has a challenging time already, because people don't like DC.
Yeah, I'm with that. Like, I feel like DC kind of has to like prove themselves extra hard. Because like the DCEU, it started off very rocky, because like Man of Steel, I enjoyed it obviously, but a lot of people were kind of like, it didn't really feel like Superman,
it's too dark.
It's too dark, and then like, and then like BVS came out, it's like, I don't like that Batman's doing this, and Superman still feels weird. Everybody, it seemed like Wonder Woman was pretty well received, but Suicide Squad, they kind of just hacked that to shit. And they ruined that movie, bro. They're like, every time I watch Suicide Squad, it's like I see it's weird, because I see the movie that it could have been, and it's like so I'm like I don't hate the Suicide Squad movie, like I like it, but I do wish it would have just been how David Ayer originally intended.
Yeah.
And obviously the 2017 Justice League was whack. Oh my God! Don't even get me started on that. So, but yeah, Joe, you bring up a good point, man. Because now DC has to try like extra hard to get people to want to see, because especially with this whole like superhero fatigue thing, people are kind of starting to get tired of Marvel, and DC just started off not in a good place, but
Oh.
hopefully like with James Gunn, and because he seems like he's really going to focus on like character and the humanity of it all. So hopefully that kind of steers people more towards DC a little bit, or at least makes them want to watch the movies, because it's going to be not only beloved characters, but characters a lot of people probably haven't even heard of.
Yeah, and another thing with it as well is that like people originally weren't a big fan of DC from the beginning. A lot of people like Marvel more.
No.
And I can say that as a person, as a comic book reader and fan, that people really did love Marvel more. Why? I don't fucking know. Probably because it's lighter, but also I can see when watching these DC movies, I've had my complaints. And it's understandable. So people already have this bad perception of DC, and so these reboots, these new makes that DC has had to do so many times throughout these so many years is what's putting a big hindrance on them. So if they can do new and individuality and make it entertaining, especially when it comes to new things, then I think we'll be good. What I don't want to see is watching a DC movie feeling like I'm watching a Marvel movie, which we have experienced before.
Okay. It's present. And another thing, I think this is where I'm at too. I mean, again, seeing the box office, seeing how these movies have been both DC and Marvel that have had really bad drops, like over like multiple weekends. Like Shazam had a really bad drop. Ant-Man 3 had a really bad drop second weekend. It's We're seeing a thing now is that there's not a lot. I think my point I'm trying to get to was that they used to be like, I feel like the superhero movie genre has been like, used to be like an event. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna see Winter Soldier this weekend. Oh heck yeah! I remember going to see Captain America with you, Joe, in high school. We were like, oh, this was an event. Like, oh, we're going to see Captain America. We're seeing Guardians. We're seeing Ant-Man. This was a thing. Or you too, Nick, in college. We're seeing Endgame. We're seeing Infinity War. We're seeing No Way Home. They felt like events, like an event night. Like, wow, like everyone's going to this. Here we go. We're all coming back to this. Let's do it. To me, I'm kind of feeling like they don't feel like events anymore. They feel kind of like another genre movie's coming out now. Great. I mean, I read an article the other day. It was like the superhero genre is becoming the new Western, because Westerns back in the day, same thing. All you saw back in 30, 50 years ago or 60 years ago or more than that was Western. Love Clint Eastwood, but all he did was Westerns. Again, he's still a legend to movie history and to filmmaking. But the article was trying to compare of like, yeah, how Westerns used to be huge fatigue. You don't see Westerns as much as you used to, or barely any. And now I feel like superhero genres kind of like now taking that like spot of like, there's so much of them where it's just like they don't feel special. To your point, Joe, they don't feel like events anymore. They don't feel like that they're this huge like opening night things anymore. Yes, there's still one once in a while, like a No Way Home or like Spider-Man, whatever, but they don't feel like this is like the grand opening of a huge movie. To me, I mean, I'm more excited for like movie like a Jordan Peele movie or a Tarantino movie or a Christopher Nolan movie, because those feel like more like event movies to me. Like, wow, we're going to IMAX, we're going to see it in Dolby, we're going to see it in this format. Those to me are like, even Ryan Coogler now too. I think once he gets out of Black Panther, he'll be for sure like an event name. And again, I do credit this to Jordan Peele a lot, where like seeing Get Out, then it was Nope, then it was Us, then it was Nope. That those feel like more like event movies. Like, oh, we're seeing this new Jordan Peele movie. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to see the new Marvel movie. All right, cool. Like, they don't feel like the cool kid in class anymore, or DC movie. Like, oh, DC movie, great. And I said this last week on the show too. I do feel like them announcing they're rebooting everything for DC, no one cares anymore. Like, no, they just don't care. Because like, why am I going to invest my time in these movies now when I know it's going to be rebooted in less than a year? Like, why should I invest in this shit when I know, as heard James Gunn, people say, yep, rebooted, like, who's coming back, who's not coming back. So it kind of throws the audience off too. And I'm kind of like talking about more like the people who are plugged in like we are. I feel like also the average movie going experience, average movie going people for the experience will still go to these movies, but I do feel like we're seeing a fatigue, and I'm happy that I'm seeing a lot of horror movies like Smile, like Barbarian, and original IPs in the horror genre have become more event movies because it's the experience you're getting. And to your point too, Joe, the experience of the Marvel movies anymore, they just feel the same. They're all being kind of meshed together where it's hard to differentiate, like, yeah, this one's kind of the same thing. Like, who fought this person, this one? And you're right, Nick. You said about Ant-Man 3, how they're starting off this like new phase, it's gonna be a big bad villain. And I think you and I both walked out saying like we didn't feel the threat. We didn't really feel like I can't wait for the next one. We're kind of like, all right, we're intrigued enough, but like it wasn't how we saw Thanos for the first time in Avengers, and they were building up to him in Avengers 2 and Guardians or whatever.
It's starting to feel like too formulaic these days.
Yes.
And I think that's the problem.
Yes,
and another problem that I have with the Marvel heroes is that everyone's sarcastic.
Yeah,
the
and
humor,
like
man.
joking.
It's
like it's
yeah,
all
they're
the
all just
same.
doing
I'm
some
like,
shit.
I'm looking at Deadpool, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Ant-Man. Like, why are you guys all like? People can be sarcastic. There's a time where it's like, all right, that's great, but if that's every conversation that every hero has together, just because they're friends or something, it gets boring because it's just like, why is everyone so sarcastic and joking constantly? Like,
sitcom writing almost.
where's the deafness to this? Like, you guys are talking about this person that wants to kill you and you're just joking. Like, I would joke, but it's like not everyone in the situation, especially some of these heroes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all jokes, and I wish. Again, I'm gonna use this as an example. I know this is definitely like an outlier, but look at Logan. I mean, look how Logan managed that. I mean, we all know Hugh Jackman's coming back now. Logan, to me, I remember seeing this with Nick opening night in college, and I remember you and Sebastian saw it at early screening. And you're like, "Yo, man, this is the one." I remember Joe was like, "Yo, bro, this is the one. You got to watch this." And I was so hyped for this because I'm like, "Wow, they took it like a more grounded nature." Again, I know that word is very kind of vague too. It's grounded, whatever. No, like, I know, but at the same time, like that to me felt original. That to me felt gritty. That to me, I felt the stakes. I felt like the heart and soul that was put into that from Hugh Jackman, from James Mangold, from everyone playing the kids or the villains or the secondary characters.
Patrick
Stewart. Patrick Stewart, man. Patrick Stewart, you can tell like he put his all into that. His last time, I mean, yes, he's back now, Doctor Strange, but like, to me, like watching that was like, wow, like that should be as a quote unquote comic book movie. That shit moved me because they used the violence for a good narrative purpose, as well as kind of like I called it kind of a modern day Western, kind of like a wrap of the comic book movie or superhero genre. But to me, it was more like a gritty Western, almost kind of like a Clint Eastwood type of movie that from back in the day. But that to me, I was like, what? Because that movie still stuck with me. Because I'm like, wow, that really, really, really stuck with me because they used a different kind of like formula for it. And again, at the time, this was again what, 6 years ago now, and that was supposed to be the last Hugh Jackman appearance as Wolverine, last Patrick Stewart appearance, whatever. And that was before Disney bought Fox. So now things have changed, obviously. But I really kind of hope they go back to some of that of like using the Logan, using again. You have winners. You have winners like Endgame. You have winners like Infinity War. You have things like Black Panther and No Way Home. But I do kind of miss the originality to it, like you both said, the originality of like bringing something new to the table because that's missing. And that's why I think we're gonna see audiences kind of like tear away from superhero movies a little bit. Again, I know we all heard the Flash is gonna be amazing. Go ahead.
And I want to add to this so you can continue. Two things. With Logan, the individuality, the real character, and that's what Hugh Jackman has always like killed with it, and the writers too, is that they kept this as Logan. This is Wolverine. Like Wolverine has lived for many, many years, has gone through lots of pain, but this hit him harder than anything because he lost a lot of people.
Yep.
Yeah,
Broken.
and he's broken and he doesn't want to be this hero anymore. He lost that purpose when he lost a lot of people all at once, and he only has one person left in this world, and they showed that. They showed that pain. They showed who Logan really is. A lot of people see him as this ferocious guy that loves to like beat people up and kill people, when in reality, like Logan is a very broken man, and now he's
Sad.
and he healed. He healed, has a teacher, has a friend, has a team person, has a hero, and then lost it all. And now he's even more broken than he ever was. And they portray that so well, especially with Patrick Stewart, who in his older age, he was, Xavier was confused and his powers were out of control as well, because he's the one that, which was an intriguing twist, that he was the one that accidentally killed everyone. And I was like, okay, that's really interesting. Different from the comic book, but similar story. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And another movie that did it so well that why it still did good was the Doctor Strange movie, because of Scarlet Witch. If it was Doctor Strange, I wouldn't really gave it a shit. But Scarlet Witch was, she carried that movie. Her character carried that movie with the pain she had to go through with, losing everything and trying to get it back, and didn't care about what she had to do it, and with the killing of the Secret Avengers and everything, like. That was really good. So again, individuality with Scarlet Witch and making her very like impactful. So these two characters, three, including Patrick Stewart as Xavier, has always made these movies. They that's what people want to see. That's what people loved. And Marvel, the writers, the directors, producers, like, they're forgetting that, and that's because their previous movies, and that's why people really don't like sequels, because they're like, our previous movies did big numbers, let's just do the same shit. And it's like it blends in when it's such a wide universe, but it all feels the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think one thing they really, really need to start focusing on again is like when they're telling a story about characters, like focus on, Joe, like what you were saying, like focus on the essence of the characters, like who are they at their core? Like focus on that instead of trying to do like, big spectacle shit, like, because not every movie needs to be like a 2.5 hour like sci-fi epic. It's okay to
Yeah.
tell more quiet, just more well-written stories, even if it is like a little bit quieter. Maybe it's even sad, or it's kind of like somewhat painful to watch, depending on the type of character that you're focusing on. Like it's tell a story. Don't focus on like, oh, look at this and look at that, and this is gonna lead into this sequel, and then this spin-off, and blah blah blah. Like that's all fine and dandy, but like, just just write the story good. Focus on who the character is, and then kind of maybe branch out from there. And I feel like
Yeah,
that's what they've like kind of lost sight of.
Yeah, and that's why all the Spider-Man movies did so well, especially the last one, No Way Home, because we had three different Spider-Mans. We really did. We had Andrew Garfield, we had Tom Holland's. They're all the same person, so they all had similarities, obviously, and they showed that, but they all were different people. They all went through different things, and the writers did so well with that story. That's why the Spider-Man movies are doing so well, because they focus on the character of who Peter Parker is. And, it was really good, especially when they added that one scene of Andrew Garfield catching Zendaya. I was like, oh my God.
Full circle, man.
Full circle.
Full circle, 8 years
and
later.
a lot of different things during the movie, especially with the villains and everything. I think that was really great. Again, individuality with the villains and the heroes, like they always, and even the side characters such as Zendaya and his best friend, like they did well telling a story and having those individuals be individuals. I feel like the writers for a lot of other movies forgot that. They're just like, well, people like these heroes, like, you know what I mean? Like, if Captain America didn't have his pain, his, you know, his experience as Captain America, and before that, like, no one would give a shit. You know, same with Iron Man. You know, it's like it feels lackluster. Like it feels like I don't give a fuck about these characters when I'm getting the same shit. Especially villains. Villains carry these stories because they're the
Yeah.
threat. They're the challenge. They're the
Yeah.
twist. They're the things that are stopping the hero, and that's what people love to see villains get beat. But people also love to see what the villains can do, how they're doing it, what they're gonna do. Not just like I'm gonna whoop your ass and take over. Like no, like all right, cool, fucking change it up. You know what I mean? Like shit, like that's why people love like Batman villains. Like the Joker is fucking insane. You never know what he's gonna do next. But compared to like, you know, compared to like the Core of Owls, you know what they're gonna do. You're not gonna know exactly what they're gonna do, but you know how they play, how they do things. With the Joker, he's very chaotic. He's very crazy. You never know what to expect. You know, like Two-Face. Like Two-Face is ruled by a coin, but you know, so you know he's gonna be led by that, but at the same time, like you don't know what to do. You know,
Yep.
they carry these characters, especially with the internal battle of Batman never wanting to kill people. Batman doesn't kill. He doesn't want to kill. He never wanted to kill the Joker. And that also shows when he's interacting with people that are affected by the Joker, such as Barbara Gordon and Jason Todd. Like once you have these characters who are just like fucking get rid of him, kill him. Why won't you kill him? And Batman's like, no, or like trying to save everyone, even the villains themselves who deserve to die in my eyes. Like, but he has a moral code. He doesn't mind whooping your ass and putting you in the hospital, but you're not dead. Like, but it's like things like this that they need to put into these movies. They need to show you why this hero is who this hero is, not just his origin story, but who he is as a hero in person, and why Batman is Bruce Wayne and Bruce Wayne is Batman, why Clark Kent is Superman, Superman is Clark Kent. They have different they have their, you know, identities, and then they have their superhero identity, but at the same time they are the same person, and they need to do that. That's what I mean when I talk about individuality and character building and character storytelling.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
So, yeah.
important. It's important.
It's super
It's
important.
important. And again,
Mhm.
we're gonna see over the summer. I mean, comes the Flash and Guardians of the Galaxy. What's gonna happen? But again, it's all on the fans and box office. Again, we'll see. Yeah. But anyway, before the show, Joe, you want to talk about something Star Wars related, correct?
Yes. I completely blanked on that. Not gonna lie. What was I gonna say? People, but all the big Star Wars fans who are keeping up with the shows like The Mandalorian season 3 and Bad Batch, the animated show, are really loving it, and I think they're doing really well. But also, I was gonna say something. Shit, I forgot. I'm gonna be honest.
No, I started watching season 3 of Mandalorian, and I read an article today. I think it was on Variety or something. Where I was this kind of surprised me because I think this is their best Star Wars Disney project was. Well, I think Force Awakens is, but that's a whole different conversation. That this is we're seeing Disney Plus has been seeing also a decline in viewership on The Mandalorian, and that surprised me because I'm like, wow, I thought
Really?
like yeah,
That is
and
depressing because as a Star Wars fan who's watching The Mandalorian, let me tell you, Dave Filoni and
okay, bro.
Jon Favreau fucking killing it. They're integrating different shit through the animated shows and movies and integrating it into this really good story. And it's so good, especially because now we're refocused on the Mandalorian being a Mandalorian. Like we even went to the planet Mandalore, which is like the first time I think so First time it's like live action that they've showed it. It's destroyed, but you know what I mean? Like they haven't showed, they never went to Mandalore in any of the movies.
And this is okay. I'm gonna go my little tangent right now, a little quick tangent for I have, and this I've said this very openly multiple times. In conversations, maybe on the show, outside the show, I truly feel Kathleen Kennedy. I think she's a great producer. Before Star Wars, again, she produced stuff like most of Steven Spielberg's movies, which I'm a huge fan of. Like she really is a Hollywood Hall of Fame producer. I think she has managed Star Wars and Lucasfilm piss poorly. And I can go off on days for this, but my thing is she does not believe in her filmmakers. Look what happens with look what happened to filmmakers. She'll hire someone, fires them the next month. And this is something that I know I can definitely feel I can relate to, not relate to, but I can I have a little personal feelings towards that. Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who I admire so much as filmmakers. To our listeners, these guys are the guys who did 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, the first Cloudy with Gentle Meatballs movie, the first Lego movie. These guys also have produced and wrote the Spider-Verse movies. That was there. They wrote it and produced it. Also, the show called The After Party. These guys, to me, are really creative, super nice dudes. They are super good writers. They're super good directors. And you're telling me 90% done production of Solo, which, again, I know Joel will back up on this. I feel that's Nick, but I feel like Solo was a very underappreciated Star Wars movie. It's a very underappreciated Star Wars movie.
God, yeah.
Perfect casting all around. I think so Gambino stole the show. Glover stole the show as Lando in Solo. I feel that movie got so much hate for no reason because I think it was coming off the heels of Last Jedi. A lot of people hated Last Jedi.
Also, and they wanted Harrison Ford to be, Han Solo. I'm just like, how? Like he's old. He can't.
Were they gonna de-age him or something?
They
wanted people to date. People wanted them to de-age Harrison Ford as Han Solo.
Yeah, they wanted him to de-age him. I'm like, no,
because you would just want the Irishman issue.
He also hates Han Solo. Like he hates that character.
He's happy.
That's true.
He really he doesn't want to go back. He was, how he did not want to be Han Solo anymore. Like he's done, especially having to play a younger version, like running and all this shit. Like he didn't want to do that. But also, let's talk about how Harrison Ford himself said the actor did really well. I don't know the actor's name. And he did, and I watched the movie. I really do enjoy it. I think they did really well. Story, it's fun, it's good. Like it's a good origin story for Han Solo. Like that makes a lot of sense. I don't. A lot of people are like, it wasn't good. Why? They didn't have Harrison Ford. What else? Is it
silence?
Fucking what? Like you can't tell me the movie good and then not give me examples of why it's not good. Like they did really good. It was a good movie. There was no need for the hate because they did so well. They did so well. Like
there's so much hate for that movie. And again, like I said, it was the heels off of The Last Jedi. And my thing was, I think how the president of Lucasfilm handled it was she didn't like what Phil Lord and Chris Miller were doing, which to me, I'm like, have you seen their work? These guys know what they're doing when it comes to storytelling, animation, and character building. And to me, when she fired them, I said, what? And then listen, she brought in Ron Howard. I'm a huge Ron Howard fan. I'm a huge fan of him as an actor, as a person, as a filmmaker. Not a problem with that. But she gave the directors special thanks credit, not producing credit. I could be wrong. I think it's special thanks, or maybe EP producer. It's like the producer, but that doesn't mean shit in sometimes. So I was like, wow, you fired these guys who did 90% of the filming, who hired Alan Ehrenreich, who hired Emilia Clarke, who hired Donald Glover, who hired Woody Harrelson, and you trusted these guys to make this movie for you, and you had no faith. Again, look at what happened to Colin Trevorrow, who did the first Jurassic World movie called Safety Not Guaranteed. Good filmmaker. And he got hired to do to do episode 9 originally, and he made an independent movie that came out in between Jurassic World and episode 9. And then she's reactionary. And she goes, "Ooh, the little indie movie flopped. We're firing him." And I love JJ. I was hyped when they brought him back for episode 9. I have flaws with that with episode 9. It's still fun at times. I still have fun with that movie regardless. But it's
the problem with episode 9 is that it was all not patchwork, but it was what's the word I'm looking for?
Like they didn't
damage control.
Yeah, they should have, when they were making the trilogy, they should have had like that end goal in mind from the start, because like you just said, it's patchwork. Like it feels like they like, okay, let's make this one. Okay, bet. And now let's make this one. It didn't feel like it was just one giant story. So now like it was all just kind of like Frankenstein together.
Yeah, it was all damage control because the number 8, the 8th movie, what was his name? Jake Johnson, right? Something like that?
Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson. I was thinking Ryan, but I said Jake. Ryan Johnson. He threw out. So I admire what JJ wanted to do, right? He wanted to reintroduce the series, but he was like, I want someone else creativity added to this. But I'm gonna blame multiple people for episode 8, because it was Ryan Johnson who threw out whatever work that JJ made, but also the fandom, you fucking idiots, fucking complaining about every single thing that JJ did just to introduce us to the new characters, right? To make a start movie, because y'all bitched about every fucking little thing. We got episode 8 instead, and Ryan Johnson felt peer pressured from the production and everything. They're like, look, the fans didn't fucking like it. They're complaining online. Fucking do something. It was like, okay, and it just demolished whatever hope I had for that fucking shit. And then JJ came back and it was like, fuck, I gotta fix this. And so we had episode 9, which was all damage control, better than number 8, but still shit.
Yeah, it's nothing that to like be proud of. And again, to you guys too, I run this to you guys who, again, we're all writers here, to our listeners too. If you can read the original script for episode 9 by Colin Trevorrow and Derek Connolly, wow, man, that is a great Star Wars script. That was a great Star Wars script. And I said, wow, I love J.J. Abrams. I admire him as a filmmaker. I always have since I was a kid. But if you read the original script for episode 9 before J.J. got back on board, it's a fantastic script. I think it was called Duel of the Fate. No, Duel of the Fates. It was I don't know the name of it, but it was episode 9 something. And the script I read it during lockdown, and I was like, wow, this was a really good script. I want to see this movie be made now. But back to my point though, is Kathleen Kennedy is very reactionary when things don't go her way. Look, example, real quick. Wonder Woman 2020, 84, not 2020, 84. She hired Patty Jenkins, who I'm a huge fan of. Patty Jenkins, I think she's a great storyteller, a great visionary, a good filmmaker, 100%. They had her record a snippet before Wonder Woman 2 came out, 84 came out, of her saying, "Hey, my next movie is going to be a Star Wars Rogue Squadron movie about how like my parents were pilots in the Air Force. I'm going to make like an Air Force movie, but with like fighter pilots in Star Wars universe." I said, cool. And whole video of her, of Patty Jenkins, roller skating on this huge air base in maybe Nevada or California or Arizona. It's a really cool little teaser. And guess what? Guess what? Wonder Woman 84 comes out, and Kathleen Kennedy goes, "Nope, you're fired." You're not giving these people a fair chance, and that to me is like you're not a good leader, and you keep firing these people when one thing goes wrong. You all have faith in your filmmakers, and you fire them because you're reactionary. And that's
with franchises. I'm with you, though. Like with franchises, you can't be too like reactionary, because that's what you're saying right now. That's kind of what's fucking up these Star Wars movies. That's definitely what fucked up the DCEU, man. And it's like yes, you got to listen to the fans, and you have to be mindful of what they want, but again, like what we were saying earlier, like just focus on telling a good story, and don't
Exactly.
focus so much on like, okay, well, this studio was doing this, so now we got to do this. Oh man, it didn't work when we did
Exactly.
this. Now we got to do like the opposite. Or we got to do that, or we got to do this. Like, bro, just hey, relax. Just fucking write the script, tell the story, and obviously make sure it's like cohesive and stuff. You can't like, I think that's what's so kind of like frustrating about some of these franchises right now. It's like you're not telling stories, you're just competing with other studios, or you're trying to play
Yeah,
catch up with other studios.
exactly.
The-
And
and
go ahead, go, Joe.
my thing is, it's really like it's production's fault a lot of the time that these movies are failing because they're like Doug said, like they're not trusting in their writers and directors. You know what I
No,
mean? With their creativity, they're just like, I envision something different. Bye. Like it was like,
fired.
how can you envision something different when these are the people you're telling like make it? Like if you envision something different, make it yourself. Don't be like, I'll support you. You do your creative thing and make this whole thing it doesn't make sense like of what you're doing. Like your role in this is to support your directors, your writers, and make sure it goes smoothly. Your role is not to be like you took away the creative role for yourself
Yeah,
because you wanted
yeah,
to produce it. You took that creative role from yourself. You're not the creative one here. So why are you saying this is not what I wanted?
fired. And you're
Fired. Like, no.
and
That
you're
doesn't make
firing off.
sense. You're hiring people to do the creativity. It's like you hiring an artist and being like, this isn't what I wanted. I told you to do what you feel best and I don't like it. Like that doesn't make sense. You know what I
Any
mean?
sense. It doesn't. It doesn't, dude. And that's my point. I'm like, I'm seeing this for the past couple of years where she brings people on and she fires them immediately. Oh, I don't like that. Fired. Or your movie flopped at the box office. Fire. Okay. She was gonna make Wonder Woman in space. She was gonna make Phil Lord and Chris Miller. We're gonna do 21 Jump Street in space. They're making these character movies that they were brought on to do because because of their past work they worked on. And that to me is so reactionary. Where I'm like, oh my gosh. Last week too, Damon Lindelof, who was a great writer he wrote Watchmen, the TV series. He wrote the first two Star Trek movies with J.J. Abrams. Good writer. Same thing. His show got plugged. I think his last show got canceled or whatever. So again, she's being reactionary because she's saying, "Ooh, you failed another studio, Nick said another studio or another. You failed at somewhere else. Cool. See it. Like you hire them for a reason. Give them a chance. I think you're kind of being like, oh, they're gonna fail Star Wars too. You don't know until you give them a chance, and that's been like pissing me off for the past couple of years with her as a producer, as a head of this Lucasfilm. Again, like I said, she's a great producer. Prior to Lucasfilm, and that's why I'm really worried about Indiana Jones 5. I love James Mangold who did Ford versus Ferrari and Logan's doing this. I love him as a filmmaker. I'm so excited for him to do it after Spielberg walked away. But her in charge of Indiana Jones scares me. So that's a huge part of my childhood, huge part of why I love movies and growing up. I am very concerned. And there's rumors too that she's out. She's be fired in over the summer after Indiana Jones. Again, I don't wish anyone failure in this business whatsoever. I do feel like it's time for her to step down and have another position somewhere. Go back to producing non-Star Wars movies and non-Lucasfilm movies because you have not proven yourself to us as fans and as people who enjoy these movies and TV series because you don't know what you're doing. I'm sorry. Again, I'm not a producer. I can't say I do the job better than her. I can't say that whatsoever. But I think a lot of people have been noticing this, especially myself, is that she's not being fair to her filmmakers. She's not being fair to the fans of these stories. And like I said, her Indiana Jones 5 comes out in June, and I'm really nervous because I'm like, please don't ruin Indiana Jones for me. Don't ruin Harrison Ford for me. Don't corrupt James Mangold for me because I love all three things. And I'm really concerned about that she has the power to do this because I'm like, uh-oh. It just worries me. But again, I'll say this again. I think she's a great producer. Prior to Lucasfilm, she produced a lot of great Spielberg movies. I have no issue with that whatsoever. I don't think Star Wars was a place for her. And again, too, listen, guys, it's been now almost 5 years. We haven't had a Star Wars movie since, and people back then were like, "We don't need more Star Wars movies. We need more TV series."
Oof.
And now I hear this from all the fans now. I listen to on podcasts and read articles and check the Discord or whatever. People are saying, "Where are the movies at?" I'm like, "Huh." 4 or 5 years ago, you were saying no more Star Wars movies, all TV shows. Now everyone's saying we want the movies back. Yeah, no shit, because Star Wars is meant to be on the big screen, on the big screen as it belongs.
That's true. That's true, man. Yeah.
Here's the thing, like, as a Star Wars fan, since I was like really young, I do love the shows. I really do. I want movies again because they said the Skywalker stories are done. So, like, that's fine, especially that last shit. But but here's another thing: is that, like, besides production, fandom, shut the fuck up.
Oh,
you guys are killing our shit. You guys, like, everyone has a fucking bitch about shit. Look, I'm not telling you, like, don't have your fucking opinions, but you're hindering these creators. You're being toxic. You're gatekeeping. Remember when Jar Jar was a thing, the actor almost killed himself. Why? Because of the fucking fandom. Star Wars Episode 8
to be like passionate about it
because of the fucking fandom. We haven't had a Star Wars movie in a fucking fat minute because of the fucking fandom. Shut the fuck up. You guys are ruining shit. You're ruining fucking lives. Like, you can't win. Don't, like, here's the thing. I don't mind when people are like, all right, the comic books, what's canon, this is what Lucas has said, this is what this is about. If they're doing something incorrect in the movies or shows, I'm fine with you complaining about that. But if you're bitching about something that does not matter, that is a little thing, shut the fuck up, because you guys are ruining it for us all. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, no one wins life. Here. No one fucking wins when you hate every single fucking thing that someone does. Episode 7 was just a fucking introduction. It was an introduction, and people were just like, "Oh my god, it was so similar." Like, okay, there's a couple more movies. Wait, see what happens. But no, since you guys wanted to bitch about every little fucking thing about it, Finn was fucked up the ass.
Yeah, he should have been the main character. I really thought he was going to be the main character of this new trilogy, man.
He should have been the main.
Was supposed to be a trooper that turned out to be a fucking Jedi. And what did we have? Him with a random weird love story with an Asian chick, and then his unrequited love for Rey, which she ignored because she was flirting with her supposed to be cousin, and then with the fucking flight guy. Fuck my life.
Oscar Isaac.
That's your fault, fandom. Fuck my life.
I remember seeing episode 8 again with Joe. And I remember I was like, I'm seeing my boys. I haven't seen Star Wars with them in a while, and we're watching it. And the end of episode 8, where Poe flirts with Rey, and all I heard was Joe goes, "Where did this come from?" out loud in the theater.
there's several times I've had outbursts. Doug can he laughs every time because I'm just like, bro, like, because like episode 8, she's flirting with Kylo. I'm just like, that's your fucking cousin. He heard me, and
that was weird to me. But
like below my breath, I was like, that's your fucking cousin. This incest. Yeah. And then fucking started flirting with Poe. I'm just like, what? Like, you can't have this whole gigantic romantic love story with this fuck and then just be like, oh yeah, I'm a good guy. Here's a good guy, and fuck my best friend Finn because whatever. Like, you can't do that. Like, it's just shit. It pissed me off because I'm just like, this is cousins. They're supposed to be cousins. She's supposed to be a Skywalker, and then we got some weird Palpatine bullshit in the next one. I was like, oh my god,
that was pretty whack. That was pretty freaking
whack. That was so whack. And, that's what I fucking wanted to talk about, because I know y'all ain't gonna watch the fucking anime show. And to all the people who are watching Bad Batch and have not caught up to the season finale, because if you fucking haven't, that's your own fucking fault. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna spoil
Hey,
some
don't
shit.
say
So
no
spoiler
spoiler. Well,
warning.
actually, hey, Joe. Before you, I just have a question. Are all of the animated shows and like the spin-off shows and the movies, is that all just one legit like universe? Like it's all canon? All for
It's all
Star Wars?
canon.
No spoiler.
Okay, interesting. Because
You
like,
gonna
Bad
watch
Batch,
it?
it's been on my list for a minute, man.
Yeah, let
Okay,
Nick
I'm
watch it.
sure,
Let-
okay.
Yeah, don't spoil it,
Wait,
man.
hold on. Did you watch Clone Wars?
I started it. That's on my list too, but like I just haven't had a chance to
Bro.
finish it yet.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you
Don't
right
do
now.
it, bro.
I'm
Hey,
gonna tell you
don't
right
spoil
now.
it,
I'm
Joe.
not gonna
Don't have
spoil
me locked
anything.
down,
No,
then,
I'm
man.
not continue with the Bad Batch thing, and I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm not
Okay,
pulling the
appreciate you.
TJ here, okay? All right. I did that once by accident.
Oh yeah.
Doug was mad at me.
Oh yeah.
It was a long time ago, one mistake. Anyways,
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
for real. That was years ago. I have not made that
That was
mistake.
the old
but-
me.
That was the old me. That was
old me, damn
TJ.
it.
His fucking spirit was in my ear. anyways, the Clone Wars is a really good show. Continue to watch it before you start Bad Batch. Because so Bad Batch is after Order 66.
Oh, okay.
So Clone Wars is before. It is basically filling you in on what happened in the trilogies. So between
It's
everything
between like 2 and 3, right? The Clone Wars.
Yes, and
Okay.
it also explores Anakin Skywalker has a teacher, because he is a Jedi Master. He just wasn't part of the council, so
He's
he
trained
is a
Ahsoka,
teacher,
right?
Yes, he trained Ahsoka, and
Okay.
it shows who Ahsoka is as a character, but also shows like in between what happened between with Obi-Wan Kenobi and with Anakin Skywalker, Count Dooku, and like how everything happened, and like bring back the story of like a lot of shit happens. So it's a long show, and there's gonna obviously be boring parts where you're just like, I really don't give a shit. Watch it, pay attention, and continue watching, because those last 2 episodes are the best fucking animated cartoon shit I've ever fucking seen. That shit went hard. They did not hold back on those last 2 episodes. Those last 2 episodes were straight fire. 10 out of fucking 10. Perfect. That's that Star Wars shit I've been wanting for fucking years. Watch the show.
Okay. No, I'm definitely gonna do that. I saw like some of it when I was a kid. What's up?
Yeah. So Bad Batch does really well to explore and explain what happened after Order 66, especially to the clones. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
No spoilers with that.
It would be interesting if there was a movie that just kind of focused on even just like a random character, but it takes place like during Order 66. Like maybe it's like a Jedi in training, and like it's kind of like maybe that's like his first day, and it's like, oh man, like I don't know what's going on. Like I'm so confused. Everybody's just killing all the Jedi, and then it ends with like him or her getting killed or something like that, and it's just like this kind of somber, like I'm just trying to survive the night kind of thing, and then ultimately they don't. I feel like that could be a good story. Like I feel like there's a lot of Star Wars stories that you could tell. Like I wouldn't be mad at like if there's like a Mace Windu movie, or like a movie that kind of explores like the origins of the Jedi and the Sith and the Force, like maybe like billions of years ago, or however the fuck long. Like maybe there was just one group of people that became aware of the Force, and then they used it, and then it was just like 2 people in that group kind of, they decided I want to use it this way, and the other one's like, well, I want to use it that way, and then that's how like they just diverge, and then that's how you get like the separation. That's how you get the Jedi and the Sith, because like the philosophies are just different. It's like there's so much you could do with that, and while I enjoyed the whole Skywalker story, I am happy that it's done. Because again, like it's a whole galaxy's worth of stories you could tell,
Oh yeah, a lot of characters. I would love to see a movie about the clone commanders, like their secret, like the clone like special forces, you know, the ones that did like the secret like big crazy missions. You know what I mean? Which they've also explored within like fan animations. If you go on YouTube, like watch those like fan animations because they're like 3-5 minutes long. Like they're really good. Like they look like literal like legit work, and like it's super interesting. So definitely go on YouTube and look up some of the fan animations because one of the fans, they also did the fight between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi, but the older, like the Ben Kenobi, like the one where Darth Vader, yeah, and they, you know, when Luke is, you know, like when he's like Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan like puts his lightsaber away and Darth Vader slashes him. You know, like that. Someone actually animated that for like a bigger, more like scripted fight, like more intricate moves and everything. So that one's really cool and really well. Like they did one where they're showing troopers and clone. I think it was. I don't know. I don't think it's clone. I think it's stormtroopers. Which by the way, clone troopers were better than fucking stormtroopers, but like they show like the grittiness of the battle where like someone gets hit with the laser and like you see like the fire spread and like them dying. Like it's really dope. So definitely go on YouTube and check out the fan animations because the fans really do work hard on those stuff and they look like legit work. So definitely check them out.
Okay, no, I'm definitely gonna do that.
As long as Kathleen Kennedy doesn't fire anyone else, hopefully they'll have a good story. He's like, you don't like that? Again, if I listen to that podcast, I'm like, I will never do this to these guys. It's like, yeah, well, that's surprise, because
I think that's a good topic to talk about. I think I just thought of, which is how people on YouTube are doing better work than actual movie productions and TV.
Well, look at that too. Exactly.
And not just Star Wars and a lot of different things.
And you know what, Matt? And this is something that, again, you went real quick. You went my little 2 cents. Yes. You know why? Because, again, look, it's idea. I feel bad for people who work in VFX who have strict deadlines because they're being told this. And you know, you're right, Joe. People on YouTube, even on TikTok or whatever, on any kind of social media, they're showing how creative people can be with fan films or like visual, like people who do visual effects for fun. You know, that's really impressive because you're not on like a tight deadline. You're not like being like so stressed. I remember during the pandemic, I was hearing stories about how like people had to go in person to do visual effects. Were like sleeping in their clothes, man, sleeping bags, but they were so stressed out of the. You know, because of how like these strict deadlines, and go back to our conversation earlier. You're right, Nick. You're right. It's the quantity over quality, where it was people because the quality over quantity for us, but for a lot of productions, it's quantity over quality, where you're like go these strict deadlines, and you're not giving people a chance to breathe or put their best work forward. And I think to your point, Joe, you're about to say is that you're right. We're seeing a lot of people who are not hired by Star Wars or Disney or these big studios and are doing really incredible work because they're given the freedom to create their own stuff and not be kind of like held under like a magnifying glass, not being like, hey, I'm on a tight leash. Hey, you got to do this instead of this. It's having the artistic freedom to like express your work and not be kind of like restricted into like kind of not corporate stuff, but more like just like the studio system. Which again, I'm a big fan of the studio system. I'm a big fan of what studios do for entertainment. Huge. But I think we are seeing a lot more freelancers, and we're seeing a lot of people who are not contracted by these studios and productions who are doing great work on YouTube and TikTok and anything because it's people now can create stuff on their phone or on their iPad, and it's very impressive what people can do with a piece of technology, with an Apple product or your Apple Watch.
That's true.
Yeah,
this is true.
And it's really good. Like besides the people that are shooting stuff, like the VFX, right?
Yeah.
They are like video games where they drive them really hard with time crunching and everything like that. Where it's like, dude, you need to give these guys their time, and also like I don't understand why production doesn't have like an actual conversation with VFX and be like, how long do you think you can make this as good as you can? You know what I mean? Like with the artists themselves, because like, man, that must be a draining job.
Yeah, it's because they're just focused on pumping out as many products as they can at a time, bro.
Yeah, but what's exhausting is that these guys have to like go in and like make the detail, like with like video games nowadays. Which, by the way, when they're showing like video games now, like when like if you watch like the directors and everything talk about video games, it'll be like if you zoom in, like we'll show you here, like the fabrics like are like looking like really good. Like we went in and detailed everything. It's like they have to do that for movies. You know, like it's not like the past where you're just like, all right, well, we're gonna do this. It like everything is more detailed. You're expecting them to do this detailed ass movie, which is mainly CGI, you know, VFX, like, and you're giving them like a year to do it. They need time.
It's time to
You know what I mean?
It's
like they need time. Like
again,
like people who do video games, like video games will take 5 years to come out, and these motherfuckers are still crunching. And you're giving them to do a movie in a year? Come on.
Less than a year.
Less than a year too for some of them. You know,
Well,
come on.
I want to give. I want to plug our very own Nick Johnson here. That look. Nick made a short film in his apartment for probably like less than any budget in the entire movie industry, and that film won awards. Like it's again, I want again props to Nick over here for doing what he did, because it's again, Nick used his resources and used his creativity to make something really unique and creative in his own house. Again, he wasn't hired by the studio, even though he should.
Thank you, Dustin.
But again, Nick, I mean, you talk about it more as a filmmaker who is, we're all starting our own careers, obviously. But Nick, for the research that you had to make, you and Jake had to make for your movie, do you feel like it's rewarding to be on your own time and your own dime at the same time? That rhymed.
Bars. Honestly, yeah, because it's how should I word this? I'm gonna try to keep this concise. I don't want to like bore you guys to death.
No, not at all.
There's something very, very gratifying when it's like, okay, here's an idea that I have for a story that I want to tell, and then like, even though like we had a huge budget of $0, like it's like how do you like work around that? How do you tell the story that you want to tell, and how do you tell it the best that you can? So, and then it's like you write it, you plan it out, you do all of the like you do the shot list for it, and you spend all this time on it. Like man, hopefully my former bosses aren't listening to this, but we even took days off of work just so we could have like extra time to film. Like we took like a Friday and a Monday off, and so we had that Friday off, and then we filmed all day Friday, like all day Saturday, all day Sunday, all day Monday, and it was just nonstop. Like we were having fun with it, but it was still like, this is a little bit just kind of like a little physically demanding, kind of mentally demanding, but we finished it, we released it, and then all the positive feedback, because like you said, we won some awards, we got like a bunch of other nominations for awards, and the fact that it's like we did it all on our own and we did it the way that we wanted to.
Yes.
Like that's kind of like the dream. That's obviously that like any filmmaker would hope to be able to do that in the industry. Obviously the industry is kind of like, yeah, you can tell your story, but you can tell your story how we want it to be told. So it seems like that would kind of just like take a little bit away from the experience, but it's fun. And like after doing it, like obviously, as a kid, the dream was to go to Hollywood. And while if I had an opportunity to go to Hollywood and to make movies and to write movies, I would take it. But after that independent filmmaking experience, it's kind of shifted my my perspective a little bit. It's like, okay, maybe I want to focus more on just 100, like having 100% of the creative control over my own product. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, and hearing all these stories, like you're talking about Kathleen Kennedy and like all of this stuff, where it's like people kind of just coming in and like, yeah, I know this is what you want to, this is how you want to do the movie, but we're actually going to do something else with it. It's like, I really don't want that, man. I want to be able to tell the story exactly how I want to tell it. And, you know, just I'll put it out there. And if you like it, great. If you don't like it, I don't give a shit. I'm the one that made the movie, so fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of like that. You can either watch it or not watch it. But yeah, it's like hearing about all this, all of these like production studio issues, and you know, directors leaving because of like creative differences and yada yada yada. It has been a little bit like disheartening, because now it's like, oh, okay, well, the dream isn't exactly how I thought it was gonna be. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Again, man, I really do. Again, I know we're all so proud of you for, you know, doing what you did, because you stuck with it and you believed in yourself. And I think that's what a lot of good filmmakers do. Again, my two examples I will use all the time is Richard Linklater and Spike Lee. These two guys came from nothing. They didn't grow up in the Hollywood in the industry, the system, whatever. They really did their own thing, and you can tell, like movies like Days Confused or Do the Right Thing with Spike. It's these guys really believe in themselves to really budget their entire selves on this movie. Yes, Slacker and what was Spike's first movie? It was She's Gotta Have It. No, what was Spike's first movie? I'm trying to think what was his first movie. But anyway, these two Linklater and Linklater and Spike believed in those. Yep, it was She's Gotta Have It. Gonna go with me. Movie trivia. So it's these guys really believe in themselves that, like, hey, you know what, this is what we want to do, and we're not in the industry. We're gonna do it ourselves, and then see what goes from there. And I think it's very inspiring to us, you know, who want to be filmmakers, who want to do stuff in the industry. It's betting on yourself. And like I said, Nick, you didn't have Kathleen Kennedy telling you you're fired from your own projects. You know, you didn't. Like,
Yeah.
You know, it's the idea of betting on yourself, and also like starting from your own. I think when Ray was here a few episodes ago, Ray was saying the same thing. You gotta believe in yourself, man. You gotta believe in yourself. You gotta like trust the process of that. Hey, listen, I'm passionate about this, and my work, you'll see it. Like this podcast that we host every week is that we're so passionate about what we want to talk about, what we do. It shows in the show because we do believe in, you know, movie making and filmmaking, you know, the magic of movie making and cinema and TV, because it touches audiences, you know, all over the world. And I truly feel like what you did, Nick, was inspiring to me and to a lot of our friends, because you went out and did it yourself. You didn't have someone telling you in your ear, don't do that, don't do that, do that. You trust your gut, and I think you definitely were rewarded with the awards and the nominations. And again, that's just the start as a filmmaker. It's you're always building your brand. You're always, you know, elevating your game as a filmmaker, as a podcaster, as a producer, as a writer, or whatever you do. If you want to be a chef, you want to be a caterer, or whatever. It's truly about believing in yourself and betting on yourself, because, like you said, I mean, you know, one bad movie can cost you, or one bad show can cost you your career. Yeah, no. I want to point someone out like the Josh Trank. And I love, again, to our listeners, Josh Trank made one of the best movies in the past 10 years called Chronicle. It is a really, really well made movie.
Oh,
low budget too. It's such a good movie.
Love that movie. That was original.
That movie goes. That movie
so
goes
good,
hard,
man. It holds up to this day so well. But look what happened. He did Fantastic Four, where he made that really bad Capone movie. And I think you saw it, Joe. You're like, bro, this movie sucks. You're like, I love Tom Hardy,
What
but then this
movie?
movie, the Al Capone movie with Tom Hardy.
No, I didn't watch it.
Oh, someone told me told me like, oh, bro, like I love Tom Hardy, but man, bro, this movie was. So again, you can have one bad movie, you can have one bad show, and that might cost you your career. And that's a gamble about being in the industry. Is you know,
like you always got to prove yourself, man. Like you can't fuck up.
Nope. You can't. You gotta prove yourself, man. And it's very daunting. And as someone who, you know, interned out there twice, it's really about it's cutthroat, but it's rewarding at the same time. But it is cutthroat, where it's like you really gotta like prove yourself. Again, I've met people when I was not working out there, like, yeah, I'm interning at this company, blah blah blah, and although instead of laughing, oh, how's that free internship? It's kind of unfair, because you know what, like it's kind of unfair because it's you're doing the same work other people might be doing, but there's no reward to it. But I know it's all about self-reward. Yes, I'm doing this work for no
Yeah.
money. But at the same time, I really do believe that I'm making a change here, making a difference here. I'm making something that I'm really proud of my artistic, my creative eye, my creative voice, whatever. Because at the end of the day, if you still believe in yourself that you can do this, it goes a long way. And again, it's the dream is always to be work in the studio, work with a big producer, work with a big filmmaker. Again, I think we all saw that dream to for sure. But it's nice when you start off on your own because you believe in yourself and you build up who you are as a creator, as a creative individual, freelancer, writer, producer, podcaster, whatever you want to do, because you are betting on yourself and you are kind of like you're in charge of your own narrative, which I think is very important in any life aspect or any kind of life choice. But I think in entertainment and creative in the creative space that we're in, it's very important to always believe in yourself because you got to trust the process of who you are as a creative and also as someone who's a storyteller.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. And
Thank
on
you.
that note, fellas,
It's
it's
bedtime.
bedtime. It's bedtime. My
Wait,
milk's bubbling. I got my green tea on the way too, man. About to take me a
All right.
nice little warm bubble bath with a glass of red wine.
Oh man, that's actually pretty. Sounds pretty. Can I join you actually? Like, man, come on. Oh wait, before you go, actually, a few things.
What's
Give us
up?
your one. First off, where can they find you on social media and on the Twitters, as kids say?
Oh yes, the Twitters. I'm familiar with this one. I've heard about that one. But yeah, Instagram. You can find me at Dawning Vision. Same with Facebook. You can find the Dawning Vision podcast on YouTube and basically anywhere else you find podcasts. And yeah, I've been Nick Johnson. Super happy to be here, have this conversation with you guys. Like, I love it, and I love you guys so much, man. And I cannot wait till next Thursday, bro. Ooh, it's one of my favorite days of the week now.
No, we love you too. But actually, one more thing. Actually, one more thing, real quick. What is your one and ones of the week? Your one show you recommend to our viewers, and our one movie you recommend to our listeners?
Let's see. Ooh, let me think. Okay, one movie. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I have not mentioned this one yet. One movie I would recommend. It's from Summit Entertainment. Came out either 2009 or 2010. It's called Push. Had Chris
Great
Evans, dude. Oh my gosh, I fucking love that
Very
movie.
underrated.
Chris Evans,
Very
Jimon
underrated.
Hansu. Who else was in it? Dakota Fanning was in it.
Yep.
It's kind of like. This might not be like the best way to describe it, but it's kind of like it feels like a really grounded version of the X-Men. It's people with abilities. They're being chased by like government agents and stuff like that all around the world. And this isn't a spoiler, but one thing I like about it, one is, again, just how grounded the powers are. They're grounded, but they're still really unique. And also I'm pretty sure it was filmed on location in China. All of the lighting is natural, so it just creates a very unique look and feel to the film. And it had a very interesting soundtrack too that I haven't really heard in any other film like that. Let's see, for the TV show. What TV show would I recommend? Fuck it, Smallville. It's a Superman origin story, 2001 to 2011. And the thing I like about this is like it is its own story. There's a lot of like of the early 2000s and CW like effects and the romance type stuff and all that drama stuff. But again, like what we were talking about earlier, it focuses on the essence of Clark Kent. And it's not even about him being Superman. It's about him really just maturing into a man. It's just that man, obviously, it happens to be Superman, but you see all of the trials and tribulations and all the sacrifices that he has to go through. The writing is fantastic. The dialogue might be corny, but the writing is fantastic, and it's one of my favorites. Obviously my favorite comic book character, and I'm even rewatching it right now. Matter of fact, I just got to season 8 actually a couple nights ago. But yeah, that's my one-on-one right there.
All right, brother. Well, we love you, man. Thanks for always being a great co-host, man. We do always appreciate you, man. You bringing the energy to the show, man. We love you, man. We really do.
Of course, man. Thank you. I love you guys too.
All right, brother. Till
Love
next
you
time,
too,
man. See you next
man. I've just
Thursday.
been quiet because the dogs have been barking.
Oh, no,
Yours
no,
must be
I
so,
got you, bro. I get it.
yeah,
so much,
so
bro.
love you, bro. Sorry.
I love you,
All
brother.
right.
That was,
Love you
Be
too, man.
safe, man.
I'll catch you guys on Thursday. Peace.
All right, man.
catch
Peace.
you next week.
Oh man, what a guy, man! What a guy! Yeah, guys, definitely watch this short film, man. It's on Dawning Vision YouTube, man. It's Nick to me is he's a very good eye for cinematography as well as kind of like really like unique storytelling with like horror and thriller, and yeah, like I said, definitely worth the watch. Yeah, Dawning Vision, man, definitely worth giving it a chance. What was the name of his movie? I'm trying to find. It was I remember watching like 1,000 times, getting his analytics up.
Movie for what?
His short film he made for his the one that won all the awards.
Oh, yeah.
Who Are You? It's called Who Are You? And again, it won a bunch of awards. And I mean, a lot of stuff. It's a 10-minute short film, and him and his roommate Jake, who's a super sweet kid, are really good at like directing stuff together and making stuff really kind of like feel really grounded as well as kind of just like unique way of storytelling. So yeah, give him a watch, guys. So onto the kind of like the usual part of the review, I'm going to give my review of Ben Affleck's new movie Air, which I saw last night at the AMC Stubs screening.
Oh yes, the Air
Dude,
Jordan movie. Yes.
Air Jordan, man. I got things, man. This movie, man. It's first off, I think Joe and I both agree on this. We're both Ben Affleck fans, both as an actor, but as a director. Like he's directed some really amazing projects, like really amazing projects that really stuck with us, to this day. I will say though, I think his last project that he directed in 2017, the gangster kind of like a mafia type of movie. I don't think that was for him. Again, I think he did his best. It was it had a lot of style to it. It was very like stylized, and it was very like a homage to like the old gangster, Untouchable, Goodfellas kind of movies. But it just to me felt very flat. Had a great cast. It had like Zoe Saldana, had Chris Cooper, had Ben Affleck was the lead in it. A lot of good actors, but it just didn't work. I don't think it worked as one of his best directorial efforts. So anyway, for our listeners, Air is a story of how Nike in '84, they were very, very low. It was Adidas. Converse were running the shoe game. Like they had all the bigger players. Converse had Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. Adidas had Adidas was kind of like the '80s of like the stripe, like the stripe tracksuit. Run DMC really kind of like made Adidas like a name on the planet because of like my Adidas song, and like they always wore the tracksuits and shoes and their videos and concerts. So Air is about how in '84 Nike was struggling, man. They were struggling to find their basketball player, the person that they put all the money into for shoes, and have a star athlete become like the face of their basketball division for shoes. So it's about what's his name, Sonny. It's Matt Damon plays Sonny. What was the last name? I'm trying to think of his name right now. I'm probably my notes up right now as we speak. Sonny with a V, I think it was called Sonny. And of course, IMDb is not working. Yeah, Sonny Vaccaro, who plays like a Nike exec, he's like a scout. He's like a scout who looks for like good talent in high school as well as college. And Ben Affleck plays Phil Knight, I think the creator and the CEO of Nike at the time. And it's just about they're trying to get Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan now is a rookie. He signed with the Bulls now. It's set in '84. He's about to sign with the Bulls. He's signed with the Bulls, going to Chicago. And it's about how Sonny Vaccaro just believed in Michael Jordan. Like he saw the tapes when he was playing in high school and college. Like this kid's going to be the next great thing. And so it's all about Nike putting all their chips on the table. They're gonna put all their money on Michael Jordan. But again, Michael Jordan at the time, he didn't want to be part of Nike. He wanted to be with Adidas. Everyone going to Adidas. Like I said, Converse had three of the best players. They had Dr. J, they had Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Nike was kind of just like the very, very like the pile of shit that no one wants to be a part of with. And the story, how I said it was, everyone brings their A game to this movie. The acting is superb, from Ben Affleck to Matt Damon to Jason Bateman to Viola Davis, who's phenomenal, to Chris Tucker, man. I love seeing Chris Tucker back in movies now, man. It's so fun to see him back, and he kills it. And he has some funny moments to the movie, but he brings so much heart to it from his perspective. And Marlon Wayans is so good in his scene. I really enjoyed what he brought to as well. And I love seeing that Viola Davis's husband, Julius Tennant, played her husband in the movie and played Michael Jordan's. Viola Davis plays Michael Jordan's mom, and it's about how at the time Michael Jordan's mom was kind of like in charge of protecting her son, but also protecting her son's brand because it's mothers do mothers protect their son and their children of like make sure they make the right decision and make the right choices in life, and it show how much like how much involvement she had in Michael Jordan's like life before he went to the NBA. And oh my god, the writing of this movie is superb. I want to give the shout out to the writer, who I believe his name is Alex Convery, and I was again really impressed with the writing. It was very like Aaron Sorkin writing, and the joke again for a sports drama biopic, it was really funny. Like I was laughing out loud, like way harder than I thought I was going to be, and the audience I was with was all the jokes were landing. Everyone was laughing left and right. Everyone brought good sense of humor, a lot of heart to it. I love seeing Ben Affleck back as a director. I think he's a great storyteller. It's good seeing him not direct a like genre type movie, which is what I mean. Like he's not doing The Town or Argo or Gone Baby Gone or Live by Night. He's doing like an actual kind of like grounded sports drama biopic with a lot of humor. And that to me is very refreshing because again, we're so used to seeing him as like action director or thriller director with Argo and The Town and Gone Baby Gone. So I give Ben Affleck a lot of props for directing a non-thriller, non-crime movie because again, it was so refreshing and it was good seeing him also take the backseat. Who he plays in the movie, he plays Phil Knight, but he let Viola Davis, he lets Matt Damon run the show. He plays a for sure secondary character in his own movie, which I thought was very smart. He wasn't playing the lead like he does in most of his movies. He was definitely the backseat, but was very smart. He let Viola Davis shine. He let Matt Damon shine. He let Jason Bateman shine, which I think was a very good choice of him as a filmmaker and also as an actor. I do have a few things wrong with the movie. I do feel like the editing is a bit choppy at times. A lot of quick cuts, a lot of like kind of like a lot of fade-ins, fade outs. It was very kind of like distracting at times. I think the editing could have been a bit cleaner and a bit like more cohesive. As well as they introduced spoilers. They introduced one thing in the movie with Bateman's character, who plays the VP of marketing at Nike, and it's kind of introduced very last minute, and it's not really brought up again at all. And I was kind of like, okay, I get why they brought it up, but also I wasn't like, oh, they could have explored more into it because I did want them to like bring it up again and explore more of his character. But it didn't bother me too much, but definitely that bothered me to a degree. I was like, they just brought it up. They just never brought it back up again. So that's my two gripes with it, the editing and that storyline. But to me, I kind of told this movie was like, to me, I pitched it as Moneyball meets Jerry Maguire meets the HBO show called Winning Time, about the Lakers in the 70s, the huge dynasty of getting Magic Johnson. It's a good combination of all three. But yeah, if you're a Ben Affleck fan, a Matt Damon fan, Viola Davis fan, or an Air Jordan fan, or Michael Jordan fan, this movie hits all levels. Again, super impressed with it. It's a great pace too. I'm really big on like pacing in movies now, where I'm like, okay, it's dragging a little bit. Let's get on with it. I was never bored. I was the quick it took 2 hours, but it goes by fast. Like we were in and out of there. I was like, the dialogue is very witty. It's well written and it's very good, quick dialogue, very witty. Again, all the jokes were landing. Like I said, it's fun seeing Matt Damon and Ben Affleck back working together too. I didn't see the last movie called The Last Duel. I heard it's really good, but I haven't seen it yet. But it's fun seeing them back together. Again, this is the Good Will Hunting boys. Like this is like an iconic duo in Hollywood. But I was really impressed with this movie. I enjoyed every minute of it. And I thought it was again, there's no spoilers. This was in the marketing. This was in the interviews too, that Ben Affleck said, you know what? I'm not going to show you Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan is the best basketball player of all time. Yes, I said it. Yeah, deal with it. Michael Jordan is the best player who ever played basketball. And that will always be the same way if you ask me. And Ben Affleck said, you know what? I can't show you an actor playing Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan's too much of a hero. He's an icon. He's a legend. So they only showed the back of his head throughout the movie. I thought that was very smart because they let Viola Davis kind of shine. They let Matt Damon and Chris Tucker and the other actors kind of like do their thing because if you're focusing too much on Michael Jordan as the person, it was taking away the story of how they got Michael Jordan, how Air Jordan is the most successful shoe line ever to exist. I thought it was very unique and very smart on Ben Affleck's part as a filmmaker because it was definitely not what people probably expect of seeing a quote unquote Michael Jordan shoe biopic. So the creative decision on that was very impressive. Okay, quick 2 hours, and I mentioned last time my elevator reaction. props to Amazon Studios for doing this. And this is the first wide release movie for Amazon Studios as a movie studio. Because in the past, they've done stuff like we're gonna do 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half in theaters and put on Amazon Prime. And look at Netflix and Knives Out or the other movies. They put a week or two in theaters, boom, putting on Netflix next week. Amazon is committed to this movie 100% because they're giving us a wide release in major theaters, Regal, AMC, Harkins, Cinemark. Every major theater will get this movie, not like a limited release only. No, they're giving us a wide release to all movie theater chains. And if I were you, to our listeners, I'm listening, I would definitely recommend seeing this in theaters. It's a crowd pleaser. Again, I saw the huge crowd last night at the screening I was at. Everyone's having a good time. They were laughing. People came out like smiling. People came out wanting to buy Jordans on their phones. I saw people trying to buy Jordans when the credits were ending. I'm like, good for them. This movie had the impact of like people wanted to like invest more of the story, also invest their money in buying Jordans. So I love this movie. Again, very highly recommend. It's worth the full price. I'm giving this right now a 9 out of 10. It's probably my top 10 of the year so far because I just love seeing, again, me and Joel are Chicago kids. Michael Jordan's one of our heroes. Like we grew up like kind of watching him play it. I grew up the legend that he is, and it's really, again, to us Chicagoans, he's a hometown hero of ours. Again, he's the GOAT. He's the best player of all time. So if you're a Michael Jordan fan, this movie's for you. If you're a sneakerhead, this movie's for you. I thought it was really, really well made. One of probably the best scripts I've heard in a long time. The dialogue was just so entertaining to hear, and again, it made the movie go by quick. So recommend Air. It comes out in theaters worldwide. Domestically, April 5th, next Wednesday. See it in theaters. It's a really fun movie. Again, I love seeing Ben Affleck back as a director because I think he's a great storyteller when it comes to directing larger than life stories. So yeah, that's my review of Air, which I can highly recommend. And I know.
All right. Oh, it sounds good, man.
No, you man. Again,
really ham on that fucking review. Holy shit,
dude! This movie, man. I went in skeptical because we're both Ben Affleck fans, but dude, it really just like stuck with me, and it really just like was so refreshing to see a really fun biopic. Again, this is like a masterclass in acting. And okay, one thing I will say too is that I wish they gave Marlon Wayans more time. But I think Marlon Wayans also a great dramatic actor. Like you see him in things, he's a great actor when it comes to dramatic stuff.
Expanding on his acting.
Me too, dude.
He is a good actor. Like I don't like him being typecasted.
Or the typical, his parody movies, again, which we enjoy for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
But he's more than that as an actor. He's more than that as an actor. Oh, yeah. And I wish they gave him more time. I wish they gave him more time in this movie because I think he could have brought a little bit more to the table with his story. But it was fun seeing him. And again, his scene that he's in, he kills it, man. His dialogue is very, very, very on point. And again, I really did enjoy everyone involved. Again, it's a masterclass of acting. It's everyone brings their A game. Like I said, Chris Tucker stole the show for me because it was fun seeing him back in the movies, man. I haven't seen Chris Tucker in a movie in a long time.
Happy seeing him back in a movie.
Dude, he's having a fun time. He has a big smile on his face the entire movie. I've seen him in interviews recently. He's having so much fun, and he has great chemistry with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. So very impressed with this. And again, kudos to Ben Affleck.
He is very much so like because he does really well in movies. Because he did because every movie I've seen, like with Jackie Chan, with Bruce Willis in The Fifth Element. With was it Silver Lining Playbook, right? Silver Lining Playbook. He did well with
great in that.
How do I forget his name? Shit.
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper, like he does really well. He is really he really connects with people because you could tell he is a funny, genuine guy. Like he's really cool.
He really is.
So when he does an acting, Jesus Christ. When he acts, like he makes I feel like since he's such an easygoing guy and such a genuine person, I feel like he can do really well, like chemistry wise with actors.
Dude, yeah, him and Matt Damon have some of the best scenes in this movie, and you can tell like their chemistry is very genuine, and they're just like having a fun time. And like I said, it was refreshing to see him back in a movie. But like it's just fun seeing him just like do his thing and kind of just like and just enjoy himself. So I just he was probably one of my best parts of the movie, and I was very impressed with what he's able to do in this role. So Again, shout out to you, Chris Tucker, man. Good seeing you back, my friend.
Yes, good seeing you back. I'm happy we grew up with you, so we love you and everything you've done. What was I gonna
I have
say? Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
watched A Knock on the Cabin.
All right, my friend. I've been waiting for you to hear this review. All right. Floor is yours, my friend.
I fucking loved it. I fucking loved it. It was so good. It was different. It was really different. It story wise, it was very creative and a really good way to introduce it. All the actors were really amazing and made you feel that. And the ending was so good. The ending and how they portrayed it, it wasn't just I feel like people, when they first start watching a movie, they're gonna think a religion thing, but really, and at the end of it, I think it's really cool. And man, Bautista brought it, dude. He's killing it with his acting. I love this man so much. This character, oh my god, I loved it. It was so good. He did so well. I was watching this. I was like, "Oh my god, I love you, Bautista." It was. I had a problem with the beginning of how zoomed in they were on their faces.
Yeah. Okay.
When he was, having a dialogue with the little girl. It was a little way too zoomed in. I didn't like that angle because it's very unflattering for the actors, even the little girls. You don't need to be that close. It's making you feel awkward, and I feel like it's a little awkward because he's having this conversation with the little girl. She doesn't know him. She's a little worried. So I get if that's what they're trying to portray, but at the same time, it's just very awkward. You did not need. It was unflattering as well. Not saying they're ugly or anything. It's just anyone in that close of a thing, especially the way they angled the cameras, because they angled it sort of from the angle of the actors themselves.
Yeah.
So she's looking up, but he's not that close. So I don't feel like they needed to be this in your face. You know what I mean? It's just very unflattering. I didn't like that. But overall, the movie was really well. Characters were well written. Story was well written. I think it's very intriguing of how they portrayed what they plan to do in this movie. You want to know how I figured out though that it was on Peacock?
How'd you figure it
out? I watched. What was it? I think it was either Kung Fu Panda 3 or no. It was was it Kung Fu Panda 3 is on Netflix. It was Puss in Boots movie. Because I've been seeing it a lot and people talking about it. So I was really I'm going to watch it. So I watched it because I first watched Kung Fu Panda 3. And I was like, man, I haven't seen the new Puss in Boots movie. I really want to watch it. So I looked up on Google where I could possibly watch it because it's not on Disney Plus. It was on Peacock. So I was like, fuck yeah. So my brother has Peacock. I hopped on Peacock, watched the Puss in Boots movie, which was really good because that villain killed it. I love that villain. Holy shit, dude. That was such a well-written villain. I wish I had more of it. It was so dope. And then I was just scrolling through Peacock because I'm hardly ever on it, and I checked and I was looking through the list and everything, and I saw a Knock on the Cabin, and I was like, oh shit, all right, let me watch this, and I watched it, and I loved all three movies I watched that day, which was Kung Fu Panda. This is in order: Kung Fu Panda 3, Puss in Boots, Knock on the Cabin. I was like, all right, fucking great day.
Good one to end with too is the Knock on the Cabin.
Yeah. Honestly, if I ended with any of those movies, it would still been great. Because honestly, Kung Fu, because Jack Black, what he does for Kung Fu Panda, he really puts his heart into it.
He does.
The creators and everything, writers, because it's just so well written. And I love what's the company that does Puss in Boots and
DreamWorks.
Kung Fu Panda, DreamWorks. They do so well, especially for the villains. They do so well for every single character. I fucking hate Disney, but sorry, I can't. But
Again,
like,
it's your opinion. Tell us your opinion. That's
yeah,
that's.
it's all me, no one else. But DreamWorks does so well. Like they really kill it. They're like they do such amazing work with the animation, the stories, the characters, the villains. They really do really well. So I really do love the movies because the villains are killing it. Really, within these movies, the characters are great, but the villains really carry these movies, and they do so well. You know. So, do you have Peacock or no?
Yeah, we do. I think yeah,
Definitely
I think
check
I got
out the
through.
Puss in Boots movie, bro, because that's really well. Like really
I gotta
cool.
watch it, dude.
I really like it. I
I heard
really like
everyone's
it.
raving about it. Everyone's raving about
Yeah,
it.
no, that's why I had to watch it. I was like, a lot of people are talking about it. I need to see this. I wanted to watch Kung Fu Panda 2, but that's like nothing. You gotta buy it on like Amazon and your
It's
boy broke
weird.
broken.
That's
Yeah, they have
weird.
Kung Fu Panda 1 and 3 on Netflix, I believe, but 2.
Huh.
Which I was
I
like,
wonder.
that's weird.
that's that's. You would think that the trilogy. You would think they would have a.
They'd
Um.
have all 3 movies on there, but they don't. Because I remember I didn't watch Kung Fu Panda 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never saw it.
I think that's what we paid for. We saw The Hangover 2 back in the day. We bought tickets for Kung Fu Panda
We
2.
bought tickets for Kung Fu
We
Panda.
saw Hangover
Yeah, I
2 instead.
remember. I was like, they both have 2 in it. Let's do that.
Let's do it. We're like, yeah, might as well. And
Yeah.
they're not gonna do anything. Yeah, I like one to me. The one to me, the animation that is outstanding. It's gorgeous to
Yeah,
look
and
at.
Jack Black is always such a great character. Who person? I
I
thoroughly love Jack Black.
fucking love Jack Black,
So
dude.
great. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, man. Well, yeah, well, glad you like Knock at the Cabin. It's honestly I think what's one of M Night's better movies in the past couple of years, where he was doing something different. Yes, it was typical. It was definitely like definitely like his M Night isms for sure. But I feel like he focused more on character as well as like just like the idea of like the apocalypse and what that might do to people. And I was very impressed with how he's able to again, like I said, Batista to me gets better and better with all his movies he's in. I really do believe that. I like that directors like M Night, like Denis Villeneuve, are really giving him, or Sam Mendes giving him a shot to like act. Again, notice the other wrestling actors. I'm not saying that whatsoever, but you can tell that Batista's really trying to like explore his range and trying to like do different roles. He's not playing the buff, muscly guy every time. Like you can tell, like he's trying to bring something more. Like he's trying to bring emotion to his characters. Like later on 2049, in the movie where he's trying to like him and Ryan Gosling had a huge confrontation. He's just trying to be. He's bringing a lot of human elements to his character, which I think is very impressive as him as a performer. But again, M Night casting him as
I was
the
gonna say a
lead.
name, but I was like, if he ever listens to this, I wouldn't want to meet him. So I was gonna be like, yeah, and then I was gonna say a name, but I was like, oh, I shouldn't. Because I was like, I would say it's a joke, but at the same time, it's a little true.
But next time. But
Next time.
next time. But yeah, I'm glad you liked it because it was very
Oh yeah,
it was definitely M Night.
Bautista. I I heard good things about Knock on the Cabin, but I didn't feel like a lot of people honestly watched it. You know
No,
what
and it
I
came out
mean?
and no one really saw it, dude. It just
Which
came
is
and
a
went.
shame because Bautista has such throughout the years, like people have not been noticing or thinking about Bautista doing like these serious movies and characters that you wouldn't think he would really do, like with Blade Runner. You know what I mean? That character was really well. Like he is a very soft spoken man, really
He's broken.
just intelligent, just really good, like playing that character. And to sort of see him do this in a different way in this movie, I really did enjoy that. And so
Yeah.
he's doing so well. So I don't want him to be typecast. I hate when actors are typecasted because you don't let them expand on who they are. You know what I mean? It's like seeing an artist do one type of painting and be like, do that every single time. Don't try to do different type of artwork. You know what I mean? Where it's like he's so well, he's really talented. So the fact that no one saw this movie is a really big shame. So I'm gonna say that that's my movie for my one.
Oh, nice. Good. I like
Knock
that.
on the Cabin, because that movie is really good. Fuck it, it's on Peacock, guys. So if you guys got Peacock, you have a friend that has Peacock, just fucking watch that shit because it's so good. Like, dude, it's creative, it's new, it's everything that me, Doug, and Nick constantly talk about on this is that something that will be refreshing, something that is different, something that is creative. This is that movie, well written, well shot, within a limitable space, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And with a small, and it's not even that. It's what, like an hour and something minutes?
Hour 35, dude. Quick
hour and a half
35.
minute. Y'all got time right before bed. You know, y'all are doing something. Y'all watching some dumb show that you're just like, whatever, it's on. If you got Peacock, put the fucking movie on. Put the fucking movie on because it's so well. Characters are great. Cinematography, character building, story building, like the actors, all the actors are so good. And I understand what you were talking about with the guy who played Ron Weasley. I forgot his name.
Oh my god, Rupert Grint.
Rupert. He, holy shit, dude! That fucking.
I know it, dude.
Oh, he really changed his, like, that accent is gone. He's American fuck, boy. Oh, he does so well. He does so, and he's not even in a movie that long. Like just fucking watch the movie. It's so good. It's so good. Just watch the movie. It's so great. I fucking loved it. And Bautista deserves, all the actors in that movie deserve to be seen doing their characters and doing so well, especially Bautista doing a character that I know you guys do not think he could do. He does it. He has it. He has the acting chops. Fucking give him his credits, because that's a good fucking movie, and he did fucking phenomenal.
Dude, it's nice to see one because he's more than just Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers. He's way more than that.
Yeah,
more than that. Yes, and he went. I love that too. He credits James Gunn a lot for helping him get to the point of his career, because James Gunn did give him a chance to play Drax in these huge movies. But I see him in interviews and stuff like that, and he's very like, I'm grateful for that, but I don't want to be Drax the rest of my life. I want to do different roles. And I think that movie wasn't the movie that I mentioned wasn't that received well, but I thought Army of Dead too, the zombie movie with Zack Snyder, he killed in that movie too. I thought it's long. It's a little long for a zombie movie, but
because it's a prequel to, what is it? Fucking, it's a prequel. It's an old ass movie.
Oh no, it's a same title but not prequel. It's funny. I thought it was too.
It's
but
not, because I keep hearing people talk about it.
They made a prequel for Army of the Dead last year called Army of Thieves. I still haven't seen that. But
okay, there we go.
Army of Thieves is a prequel to that, but Army of the Dead is like Snyder doing his own thing again with zombies. But for zombie, high, Snyder-esque, high octane zombie movie, he really shined in Army of the Dead, and I was very impressed with him because he showed him who he's playing as a survivor, as as a protector, as a father, as someone who lost people. He did really good in Army of the Dead, and I think he probably was one of the best parts of that movie. I saw film of that movie. I had a lot of flaws with it, but he really did a good job of bringing emotion to a zombie apocalypse through his character. So it's worth the watch for sure. I think you would like it, but it is a little. It's 2.5 hours.
It's on Netflix, so I'm down to
it's
watch
long.
it out, man.
It's worth the watch.
Stand up shit.
Worth the watch. I think you'll like it, and he shines a lot in that role too. So man, props to you, Bautista, man. I love seeing you in different roles and expanding your your way as an actor. It's really rewarding to see you kind of how far you come, and also just again seeing yourself in different roles that you can do this. You're testing yourself too as a performer. So yeah, and props to you, Bautista. Really. All right, man. All right, so might as well do our one-on-one of the weeks. You want to tell Ben? Do you want to tell what our as always, what our one-on-ones are for the show.
Right. Yes. Sorry. um. So our one-on-ones, we do this every week, and I always introduce it because you never know when someone's just like, let me check out this episode, let me see if I might like this podcast. So welcome, a viewer who decides to just randomly click on a random episode and listen. Uh, our one-on-ones are when me and Doug, and you probably heard it earlier, Nick, each grab one movie and one show that we think is underappreciated, not watched, or just overall underrated, or unknown that we think you will really like, or at least put on your watch list to eventually watch it in the future. Me and Doug have done it. We have our lists and we watch things eventually. So hopefully you will like this or at least put on your list for a future watch. I'll go first since we have already heard one of them, which was A Knock on the Cabin. Really good movie, really great. Fucking loved it. Definitely need to give it a watch. My show. Show. A lot of people already watched this show, so that's hard to say. Because I've just been watching one show. It's just a pretty popular show, anyways. It's done. They just recently did a movie, but sure, I'll talk about the show. Teen Wolf, the Teen Wolf show that started years ago. Did you just say, "Oh God"?
Oh, that's a good one. I said that's a good one.
Oh, okay. I was like, hey, man.
The nerve of you, man.
How dare you? I will forget about it.
Forget
it. Basically, it's a teenager who gets turned into a wolf, and the crazy shit that happens to his life, friends, family, and town, following the supernatural. You guys have probably heard about it. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a really good show. Started rewatching it again. They have a movie out. I probably won't watch that, but no offense to the show, but I feel like, why I remember how it ending towards. I watched the season. I watched the second to last season. So I feel like the last season will probably be a good ending for me. But it's a really good show, really great actors, Tyler Posey, you got what's her name? Shit. Emily Reed or something like that. And Dylan O'Brien, like a lot of actors, quite a few of the big, actors are decently well known, came from the show. They do a lot of great work. The guy who plays Derek is Superman and Lois show. So a lot of good acting. You're gonna think it's cheesy at times, and obviously shirtless dudes constantly because why not? There's no need for it, but they're there. But yeah, it's a good show overall. Good writing. I like the character building. Very interesting. And Dylan O'Brien's just hilarious as Styles. Yeah, definitely give it a check out. Your time, Doug.
Yeah, do I Teen Wolf. Let's see. So I think this week I'm gonna have a theme into this week's episode that we about air. So I'm gonna keep it Michael Jordan / Ben Affleck theme for my my choices of the week. For my movie of the week, I'm going with probably my favorite Ben Affleck movie, which is The Town, which I think is his best movie as an actor, as a director, as a writer. The Town to me, I remember seeing it. I was in 8th grade, and I said, "Oh my god!" It really just stuck with me because I was so amazed by like Ben Affleck as a filmmaker, as well as like just being so invested with these characters. So, The Town came out in 2010. It's about the group of bank robbers in was it Charleston, Boston, I want to say, or Massachusetts, town in Boston, whatever. And this town is known to have the highest bank robberies in all of America, constantly hit by bank robbers. And it's about these four guys who are like the best at what they do at bank robbing in Boston. Never got caught. They've been doing this for a year. And it's Ben Affleck, Jeremy Renner, Blake Lively, John Hamm, and it's just about no matter what, no matter how much you get into, how much money you get, it's not never is enough. And the more robbers you do, the bigger the trace you have on yourself, and the more the feds are on you, the more the FBI is on you, the more the CIA is on you. It just never, no matter how much, you can never get out clean. And it's such a phenomenal movie. I can watch it all the time. I just love watching it every time I watch it. And there's a line that me and Joel always quote to each other all the time, like, ooh, their TikTok or their text. And there's a scene that's so good.
Way before TikTok.
Way before TikTok. But whenever we see it, we always share it to each other, no matter wherever we see it, or on Twitter, or wherever we see it. And it's such the writing's so good. It's so gritty. It's very dark. It's violent, but it has some of the best performances ever. And for bank robbers, I won't spoil anything, but for bank robbers, you feel for these guys. You feel for, even though they're terrible people, you're rooting for these guys. You're rooting for them to win, but you're also rooting for them to, like, hey man, this is the last one. Get out while you can. And it's just a great gritty drama. It's again it's really about like a character study about bank robbers and what they do and how they spend their money, and who they hang out with and who they're involved with. And it's so good. It's really one of his, I think, Ben Affleck's best film as a director, as an actor. I think it's on HBO Max, I believe, still, but it's a phenomenal movie. I love, probably one of my favorite movies of all time. It's so good, and it shows how well a director Ben Affleck can be when it comes to, like, directing a huge ensemble cast, as well as directing action and thriller and crime. So I highly recommend The Town. And for my show this week, I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna do a docu-series, actually, and that is called The Last Dance, which is all about the dynasty of the Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Phil Jackson as the coach. And it's kind of like it's a 10 episode docuseries about the rise and the dynasty of the Bulls and how they were the best team ever, how Michael Jordan is the best player of all time. He's the GOAT when it comes to basketball players. And to me, I'm not really a huge docuseries person, but this came out during the height of COVID, when COVID hit everybody. Like, this came out at the right time. Everyone has been to watch every week, every Sunday when it aired on ESPN. And it's unfiltered, it's uncensored, it's really raw. You see, it's the interviews with Michael Jordan, the entire team of the Bulls team. People that played against Michael Jordan, people who played against the Bulls. Is that they're kind of like testimonials, their side of the story. And for a docuseries, it drags you in the first 5 minutes, and it's just a great study about the rise, also the fall of the Bulls, and how, again, they were the best team. Air Jordan, everyone wanted to be like Mike. Everyone wanted to play with Michael Jordan. And yes, you see him in the light. He was very harsh on his teammates, but at the same time, he was harsh on his teammates, but he got people to deliver. He got people to do the best they can in the game. He brought it out of them. Like, he was very intense. He was very competitive. But that's the greatness of Jordan. He was able to do that with his teammates and make them better. Yes, is he the most likable guy in the world? Probably not. But you can't deny he's definitely the best player of all time when it comes to basketball. And the way he's able to make a legacy, like that in the movie, it shows too. His shoe line is the most successful shoe line ever to exist. Like $400 million, like, per year at the revenue it makes with his shoes. So it's a phenomenal docuseries on Netflix. 10 episodes, like hour and a half episodes, but they're so intriguing, and you just see like this raw, unfiltered, just like really like deep dive into who the Bulls were, who Michael Jordan was, who Scottie Pippen was, who Phil Jackson was, who Dennis Rodman was, who Steve Kerr was. And if you're not a sports fan, I get it. But if you're a documentary fan, a docuseries fan, at least watch this, because it is so fascinating. It's so intriguing, and they do such a great job of just kind of like showing how legendary these players were, and how legendary Michael Jordan is, and how iconic he is. So, again, my movie this week is The Town, directed by Ben Affleck. Sorry, Ben Affleck. And my show of the week is a docuseries called The Last Dance, which is on Netflix. So, worth the watch on both of them, and I hope you enjoy it if you do watch them. That was mine of the week, my friend. You want to close this out, as always? Yep. Did we lose? Oh, I think there's a.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
accidentally remuted myself.
You're good, dude. You're
I
good.
was
Yeah, we
on
losing.
mute. I said both were really good, by the way. Really
Yeah,
good.
they're
Funny
so
as
good.
fuck with the Last Dance. Because Michael
Dude,
Jordan is just a character, bro. Like this man is like legit crazy.
I
He is
took that
legit.
personally.
He's fucking nuts, right? He's like, I scored. It was so amazing and everything. And I just look at Michael Jordan, and he is serious, and he goes, "That's the last shot you're gonna shoot in this game." And it cuts to Michael Jordan. He's like, and I took that personally.
That
It's like he
personally.
didn't even give a fuck about you. He was just happy he scored. Like this man's
Yeah, dude.
crazy.
No, bro. If you're playing against MJ, man, you had to bring your A. You had to bring
He's
your A
fucking
game.
nuts. Michael
Yeah,
Jordan's
dude. No, I'm
nuts.
serious. You're going- Oh man, dude, it's such a good. I'm honestly might rewatch. Actually, I think I bought it on a Glimpse edition, like box set. I only, I still buy movies and shows, but I don't buy TV shows. I bought that one because of how much of a Bulls fan I am and how much I love Michael Jordan, how like he's the GOAT. So I kind of watch it after seeing Air because Jesus, man, it's such a great docuseries and it shows how much like how legendary, how iconic Michael Jordan was, and how the Bulls were just like the best team ever for those years when he was on the team. So yeah, it's so good. But yeah, like I said, ones of the week. But yeah, my friend, do honors of closing us out, please.
Yes. Thank you to our listeners for coming here another Thursday. Well, not even Thursday. Thursday for us, probably Friday for you. Thank you for coming and listening to our podcast and just joining us on our journey through our nagging, our exploration of how we truly feel, and hopefully we gave you some good insights and different way of viewing some of our subjects, or just having a similar thought towards certain things like fucking Star Wars fandoms, and, or maybe
Yep.
something that you might want to have a conversation with someone else that you disagree on of what we said, or with us in comments and posts that we do. But do keep it friendly because we don't want to fucking block you and ban you. Like we do like criticism, but we do not want hate. We don't
No.
agree with sending hate towards anyone, so we would not like to receive hate.
We'll pull a Captain Kennedy on you and fire you.
We'll fire you from our Instagram, man. We'll fire you. We'll figure out how to you from Spotify, okay?
If there's a will, there's a way.
There's a will, there's a way. With this generation, we can cancel you because cancel culture is real. So, anyways, enough with the joking. But seriously, no hate, please. We just want to share our love for this. So yeah. But anyways, thank you for coming. And hopefully you join us again for our next episode, for our next podcast. And you do go ahead and share us. I'm pretty sure Doug has already plugged himself, I think. We have an Instagram. I have an Instagram. It's all in our link tree on Instagram and shit like that. But yeah, thank you again for being here. We love you. We truly, truly do appreciate you for making this dream come true. It's not a big thing. It's not a huge thing, but it is a dream come true to be able to talk about things we love. So hopefully you do come again and you share us with some people that would enjoy to join you and our other listeners. All right. Have a good night, good day, great day at work. Stay positive. Love y'all. Bye.